Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Wild Girls Gone Sober. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Amy.
Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day, isn't it? I feel like we've had nonstop rain. It's our rainy season here. So we've had like tropical craziness. And yesterday we had tornado warnings, and I was outside at the barn when we had pouring rain and hail. Super exciting.
I was going to say, it's not rainy season yet. Wait till...
Well, it is. Yeah, May, June. That's not rainy season. Yeah.
I feel like it hasn't even started though.
We've had like thunderstorms for like a week. Where you been?
Maybe they just haven't come up here. We do not live in the same city.
Where have you been?
No, yesterday, so we went out yesterday, so I guess I'll jump over a topic, but things we've been doing to like keep, we're going to talk about things we've been doing to keep a little busy. So we were like, because the sky was getting all dark, and I'm like, do you think we'll make it? Because we're going to go for a bike ride run.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, sky, did you hear a little thunder? But it never rained.
Well, it rained south of here. I was driving to the barn. It was like almost 3 o'clock because I had a lesson, and I was driving to the barn, and I was driving into like this pitch black cloud looming in the distance as my emergency warning system went off on the radio saying that Palm Beach County had a tornado warning, that there was a tornado spotted in Belglade, and that there was quarter-sized hail. And I thought, oh great, looks like that's coming this way. And sure enough, like, we waited to start because it poured rain and we could see the hailstones coming down and bouncing off the grass. It was crazy.
Missed us.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Yeah,
well, you're probably too close to the water. Because that's inland. Like, if you think about it, Belglade, Palm City, like, it's all inland, so... Anyway, it is rainy season. Regardless of whatever the bubble of Lindsay's weather is, May, June is typically our rainy season down here because we're a very tropical climate.
Right.
And today it's sunny and beautiful, but maybe it's just because I'm here where she lives.
Exactly. I'm trying to get you to move here.
No, I live on the coast too.
No, it has been gorgeous out. It's definitely getting hot. Like, it feels sticky out.
It's nice. I like it. So you were going for a bike ride. What other things are you doing to like keep busy and not be home wanting to pour liquor down your gullet?
So we were just talking before we pressed record about how we haven't really wanted to drink through COVID because we're kind of sick of talking about COVID. At least Amy really is.
I'm super sick of talking.
And so I really haven't felt like I wanted to drink during COVID just because I just haven't, basically.
Yeah, I can't say that the COVID situation itself has caused the stress in my life that I think it's causing in other people's lives. Like, I didn't lose my job. I haven't been home out of work. I haven't been trying to homeschool kids. Holy hell.
I can't imagine.
I talked to one of my girlfriends, I talked to Julie yesterday, who is one of our sober friends from meeting, who has 3 kids under the age of 7.
Oh God.
Yeah, and is like has her own business and is like trying to get her own stuff going and is doing homeschool with the kids, and she's like, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, I want to shoot myself every day. It's horrible.
Yeah, for those people, I can't imagine. Like, I don't even know what advice to give you. Like, call anybody that can help, because we are very fortunate. So, and we've I think that we've also done a lot of work previous COVID that has set us up to, our lives aren't chaotic. So we don't have these storms constantly brewing around us like there was before. So we've kind of structured our lives a lot better to be kind of ready for it.
Yeah, I'm reaching a point where I took like almost everything off my plate for a while, and now I'm at this point where I'm starting to like pack things back on, and I have to be careful about that tipping point of stress and anxiety.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I left your house the other day, I was like, I'm gonna have to talk to her about this, because you were going for. Amy's a badass, right? She rides horses, she rides Harley, she sings in a fucking band, like she does everything. She golfs. I'm sure she could hunt and fish if she wanted to, right?
I don't kill anything.
So, but yeah, and I'm like, because you were like, oh, I'm going to band practice, and I'm like, she's gonna start. So this podcast takes time, recording it, getting to each other because we don't live so close,
right?
And you just bought a horse. You've been spending a lot of time there.
Right.
Probably,
That's a 6-day-a-week commitment. Yeah,
right.
I have to, because I compete. I'm a competitive rider.
Right.
And I was out of it for a little while, and now I'm getting back in because now that I'm not drinking anymore, and now that my car insurance has gone back to normal human rates, I'm able to do this again.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, that's the
and then
biggest
the
shift.
Thing.
Yeah, I know. The horse is the biggest shift right now, and that's where I have to figure out what else is okay to be on my plate. Because genuinely, if I want to be competitive, I need to ride 6 days a week. And I can't screw off forever like I kind of have been and like go ride at 3 p.m.
Right.
Like that's when work is normal, that is not going to fly. Like it's going to have to be 5, 6 o'clock at night, which is fine. I can do that, but it also limits what else I can have on my plate. I have 2 band things going on right now. I have a friend who's a guitar player that we've been like trying to do a little solo thing that I'm kind of feeling like I don't want to do now, and I feel bad. I don't want to hurt his feelings. He's like the sweetest guy, and I think he's an older guy, and I think that it's like going to read to like somebody's grandpa in the nursing home sometimes. Like I think he looks forward so much to practicing with me. Like we haven't actually gone and done anything.
You could go right across the street and play somewhere like that.
I know. Well, that's what we're trying to do is some open mic stuff. But just when we got down like 4 solid songs to be able to walk up and do an open mic, the COVID thing happened and we stopped getting together for a while. And so we've only gotten back together twice. Like the last 2 weeks we've gotten together. And then he sent me this like really sweet text message like, oh, I really enjoy working on this stuff with you. And then I got there last night and it was like a gab session for like an hour about everything he, you know, in his world. And I was like, oh, can we just like do some music and I can go home because I really want to be done. And I feel bad because I feel that way. But this other band reached out to me because I'm on a website for band members. Like you're on this website where you post what you do. Like I'm a vocalist and some people play guitar or drums or whatever. And people can connect that way. It's great. So these guys have been playing together for a hot minute and have a bunch of songs worked out, but they don't have a singer. So they reached out to me. They were local. They're playing all my music. They're like a 90s alternative rock kind of stuff, like all the stuff I love. And so I did go and I tried out with them, and it went well. It wasn't amazing. It's, you know, I can't sing like Eddie Vedder.
So did you get it? Did you get
it? I think they want me to be part of the band. Like they.
What is that? What about the time commitment? I mean, that's already a lot.
So it won't be more than once a week, I'm sure. And they're not looking to get discovered. Like they're happy to just play somewhere once in a while. Like one of the guys in the band is in the food and beverage industry, so he's probably got some hookups to play at restaurants or bars or whatever. And it went well. Seemed like they'd want me back. They weren't getting together this week because that particular guy was traveling for work, so we'll see. I don't know when the next get-together will be. So I don't know. And then I have a friend who's got a horse that she's having like mega troubles with, and I'm trying to help her and go and ride her horse and give her lessons and like help her. I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just like putting all this stuff back on my plate. And then John kind of threw me for a loop because we used to have this whole like schedule down where he worked every Saturday. Mm-hmm. The 10 years we've been together, this man has worked on Saturdays.
Which has been great for me.
So Saturdays are my day to do all my stuff. Like I hang out with my friends, I go to the beach, I do whatever I'm going to do, or I'm at the barn all day or whatever. Well, now he started, and Sunday was our day together. So now he started golfing on Sunday mornings because this group of guys golfs on Sunday mornings, and I think that's great. Like, go, have fun, be with the guys, do your thing. But he's like, well, you know, I'm going to make Saturdays all about you. And I'm like, oh. Oh.
Really?
It kind of fucks up how I work my world, man. Sundays worked. But now he bought the dirt bike. Right, you know this. Like we have it. So my husband is 57. I love him so much. He's amazing. He's hot and fabulous.
Got a second win.
But he decided he wanted. It's totally my fault. I encouraged him because he did motocross when he was like in his 20s, and now he's getting into this dirt bike racing thing where they like go through the woods and stuff. And he sold his motorcycle, so he doesn't have the motorcycle anymore, and bought a dirt bike. And now I don't know when he's doing that. So. Like, are we doing anything together? Like, I don't really know what's happening. And when are you doing this? Because I need to have my schedule because I got a lot of shit.
Right.
And now all the networking stuff is going to start happening again, probably mid-June. So that's going to add, like, I'm going to be right back.
I'm getting anxiety thinking about it.
I'm going to be right back to being out, like, every friggin' night of the week. That's what I'm fretting about.
But you know that too much on your plate overwhelms you, and not that I think it would trigger you to drink, but I think who knows? Yeah.
Who knows?
And then I don't know, I think it's too much. You still need your Amy time where you can unwind and, you know, kind of, I don't know, just like work out your day, spend time on your horse, not feel guilty you're not doing something else.
Right.
You're not disappointed. You're like, how are you going to
And I don't want to end up riding at like 9 o'clock at night because that's the only time I can get to the barn.
Like how are you going to give all those things your attention 100%?
Yeah, I think once I get through, I mean, I hate to fast forward my life, but when I get through this year, there are some things that are going to come off my plate that will alleviate the networking stuff because I don't really need to do it anymore the way I always had to do it. It's not as necessary for work for me. So anyway, so that is stressful, and that was one of the things I was talking about today is like I can feel that I'm getting a little anxious about things and I'm overreacting to things probably because I've got too much I'm already putting too much on my plate, and things aren't even really in full gear yet. And one of the things that's going on in my life right now is, so my mom is selling her house. My dad passed away a few years ago. I'm sorry, my phone was going on.
No, you're fine.
My dad passed away a few years ago, and my mom was selling the house that she has lived in for 62 years. Like the house my whole family has grown up in, it was my grandparents' house. Yeah, so it was a big deal. And I ran away to Florida. My family's in Massachusetts. I ran away to Florida almost 6 years ago. And so I wasn't home to help with getting the house ready or packing everything up or doing all these things. My sister has been the one who lives nearby who has helped with all this. And my mom's very capable. I mean, she's active and healthy and physically capable of packing boxes and lifting things and doing all that stuff. So it's not like she's, she's not 100 years old, not able to do anything. But I haven't been there to help. And now with the COVID situation, like there's so many layers to this whole thing. Like she's been kind of quarantined in her house for 2 months because it's way worse in Massachusetts than it is here.
And how old is your mom?
75.
Okay, so she's in the age where she needs to be
high
extra
risk.
careful.
Yeah, but she's healthy. But she's been quarantining in the house. She's planning to go to my sister's, but she isn't going to go there until Monday because she signs all the final paperwork on Monday at the attorney's office, and then he goes to the closing with it for her. And she wanted to wait until she was like done interacting with people before she moved into my sister's house because she's going to quarantine herself in her room at my sister's house for 2 weeks and like not interact with them at all. Anyway.
How is that going to work?
Well, there's an upstairs bathroom, and she's got a bedroom up there, and so that's hers. They're not going to go in it, and they're not going to interact.
She's going to like leave her some food at the door
I'm
and
not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I think that's exactly. It's crazy. It's craziness. But what's getting to me is, in their efforts to make the move out process as easy as possible, my mother is now left in an empty house with like no furniture and like nothing. Like she's sitting on a 4-inch foam mattress pad on the floor with her book, which she says that was her call. She wanted it that way. She just wants to be able to walk out the door Monday when it's all over. And I'm like, what? Like, you're not packing up a U-Haul moving to Texas.
Right.
She lives one town over. Why can't you make 2 trips that one day that you're moving in? So I'm like losing my shit about it because that's my mom and I'm not cool with it. But she got upset with me the other day because every time I've talked to her, because I talk to my mom like every day, every time I've talked to her, I get all in a good about this and I blame, I'm cranky and blamey and awful. And she like hung up on me the other day because I was ranting. And I was like, you know what? I can't talk to you till you move. I can't. Because I was really like starting to have a hard time and I was getting really anxious about it and I was getting angry every time I talked to her and I was like, it was just becoming this layer of stress on me and I'm like, you know what? It's what you want. That's what you're telling me. That's fine. I just can't be included in this until it's over. I don't want to hear anymore. And I'm having my own emotional responses. It's the house I grew up in. I never moved as a kid. I was one of those few people in life who lived in the same house my whole life.
Me too. My parents still live in the house.
It's so rare, and I think that makes it so much harder like, it is our family homestead. Mm-hmm. Everyone lived there. Everyone. Like, my uncles, my aunts, my grandparents, like, everybody lived in that house at some point. And so it's hard to see it go, and I'm having my own emotions about it. And so the whole thing is a mess.
Well, Andy, it's not like you can just, you can't just hop on a plane,
right,
go up there and say, you know what, Mom, I'll camp in the living room with you, and then move you on Monday.
Right.
So maybe she needs to see you. Maybe like FaceTiming her or something like that. Maybe
we do.
That will, okay.
We do. We FaceTime.
Have you talked to your sister about it?
No.
You think you'll get too angry?
I think, so we have a tenuous relationship sometimes. And I think if I talk to her, it'll get back to my mom, and my mom will feel bad, and it just won't go well. I have to just, recognize I'm having a reaction to this. She seems fine and perfectly happy with the situation. Because I said to her, what would you do if this were your mother? Because if it were my grandmother, there's no way my mother would have let this go on. I'm sorry. I know her too well. She would never have been okay with this. She would have been like, Ma, who cares? We'll move you, blah, 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 blah. It would have been fine. She's like, well, if that's what she wanted, if she said she was happy with that, I would, okay, so that's what you want me to do. Okay. So that's how I'm dealing with it. This is I think today will be day 3 of not calling my mom.
What about just sending her a little I love you text?
I don't want to open the door to talking about this because we can't seem to not talk about it. I think I'm better to just be like...
Just send her a picture of your beautiful face. That'll make her so happy.
I don't think she's unhappy. I think she's fine. It's me who's crazy. I think she's okay. She'll be fine. I'm not worried.
I don't have any Vanessa.
No, and I think it's okay. I think the answer is I'm making a decision to just distance myself from the situation for a minute, and I guess this is the message is I'm recognizing I'm having a reaction to this. This is about me. I'm reacting to it for whatever reason. I'm boring the shit out of Lindsay.
No,
I'm reacting to this situation. So rather than continuing to get myself all worked up about it, which I am doing, and I'm not saying it's a road to drinking, but who knows? I definitely have some thoughts about it lately. It's in my brain. But rather than keeping myself in this situation stressing me out, I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to talk to you after you move. So we'll chat Tuesday when you're at Lori's house. And that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's good.
It's all I can do. And my point being,
healthy boundaries.
I can't do anything about the situation. I can't contribute. I can't go there and help. I can't be part of it. I can't change anything that's going on from here. So I have to just let it be what it is and just back the fuck off and worry about me.
And that's your sobriety bubble. And I always say this is a bubble. And all these things are trying to get to your bubble. They're trying to, penetrate through with all these arrows. And you really just have to make sure you don't let anything through there because the small little leak could just turn into a bender that turns into jail, that turns into God knows what.
And even, I'm almost at 8 months, right? I'm 3 days away from 8 months.
Woo!
Even at this point, I still feel like the thought crosses my mind.
What's the actual thought though? I want to have a drink?
So there's a combination of things. There's a combination of I'm feeling feelings I don't want to feel, and I have no outlet to alter that quickly, right? I don't have an easy release of that, which was drinking. Okay. I don't like how I feel. I feel stressed, I feel sad, I feel hurt, I feel whatever, and I don't like this, and I don't want to feel this way, and the only way I know to quickly and easily cope with that is to numb it, right, and not feel it, and make it go away. So I miss that option, right? And they say it all the time, the great thing in AA is you get all your feelings back, and the horrible thing about AA is you get all your feelings back. Bum bum ching, yeah. So that's how I feel right now, and I can't just be mush.
So what about, don't you feel we talk a lot about you're pulling your arrow.
Sure.
Right? So what are some arrows? Because sometimes we just have to remind ourselves, if I was telling you the same thing, what would you tell me to do?
Well, I do the move and muscle change thought, right? Like
Love
I'm
that
getting,
one.
and that's what and I do, and I am, and I think part of my resolution in this situation is I just can't be in this situation.
Right.
Like I have to take myself out of it because it's not going to go to a good place. So I'm not saying I didn't get to the point where I might have drank over this.
Right.
But that's why I say those thoughts are still in there, because if I continue down this road of feeling this stuff, this frustration, this hurt, this anger, this whatever, that's going to make me think about it, because it's the only quick out, right?
Yeah.
It's the quick out. It's the easy way out.
But to me, when
I know it goes down a bad road, and that's
Right.
what I do next is like, yeah, okay, so it's the easy way out, but what would really happen? Oh, you would drink, you feel better for 10 seconds, then you drink too much.
Then you feel like
and then
shit.
you'd feel like shit, and then you'd be guilty, and John would be angry, and you'd have to start your clock over, which I would never want to do. Like, I go down the path, I play the tape of all the bad things that will happen, because deep down I know the one drink or whatever that I did to make myself chill wouldn't be enough. I know that. Like I do, I know it. But the thoughts are in there, and I think everybody has to know, like, you're gonna think about it. Like, it's gonna cross your mind. So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2 is, oh, I'm almost 8 months. I'm doing great. I don't really think about it. Maybe I'm not really an alcoholic. Maybe I could have a drink or two and be like a normal person and blah, blah, blah. And then I have to do the same thing. I have that thought. a
Okay.
lot. Like, you know, I wonder if I could control it now. I mean, look at me. I've gone almost 8 months. I wonder if I could have a glass or two like normal people and enjoy it, blah, blah, blah.
And you probably could. You could have a glass or
Yeah.
two and enjoy it like a
One
normal person.
time.
Maybe once, maybe twice,
Right.
maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times, maybe 2 months. You just drink 1 or 2 times, but you know
Eventually.
that
I
that's
don't
just as
even-
well as
And I don't know that I even could one time. I'm like, really think about that. 2 glasses, that is not going to be enough for you ever. Like, who are you fucking kidding?
Right.
Even just starting to think about it, I'm like, 2 glasses. I like,
Right.
I'm not, a
Just
bottle
warm
and
it
a,
up.
bottle and a half or nothing. Like, I know I can't do it, but that thought still creeps in. You know, that one of the books we read where she calls it her Voldemort voice. You know, it's Voldemort in her head. I've got it. He's totally in there. And I have to talk myself, like, I have to go down that path of, no, you know exactly what you would do. I can taste it when I think about that. That's how I know I could never do that wine that we talked about, that non-alcoholic wine, because just thinking those thoughts, I can taste it. And I'm like, oh no, 2 glasses would never be enough for me.
Oh my god, if I have
Never.
an olive from the Dirty Martini, I mean that will like spark all these feelings and fires in my blood.
Mm-hmm.
But so recently I have been in a situation where someone, I guess kind of close by proxy, is just what relapse
Right.
for not drinking but
I relapsed hard.
hard.
Yeah.
And that's always scares the shit out of me, and it'll scare those thoughts right out of my head. So if I'm thinking the same thing, like, wow, I went a year, like or not a year yet, but you know,
But damn close.
woo, I'm the shit.
Right,
you know,
right.
Like, God,
I got
this is
this.
awesome, right.
Yeah.
It's just that relapse, restarting the clock, whatever you want to call it, it's all that hard work, which is to me not be flushed down the drain, and I get people relapse, but
Right.
it would be devastating. I don't know if I could recover from that emotionally.
I think it'd be hard.
It's like, and then how do you unknow? Like, I don't even know that I could really enjoy, you know, when you think back and you think of enjoying like a cold icy drink on the beach and the alcohol.
No, we'd be guilty the whole time.
And feeling buzz. Yeah, you
Yeah, we'd
can't
be
take
guilty.
out knowing what you know.
Right.
And then then you wouldn't even enjoy it. And then I was talking to Pat yesterday. We were sitting on the porch, and I said, "Oh my God!" I was like, "It's almost a year. Can you believe it?" Like giving myself all these like, "I'm amazing," and he's like, "Well," and it was the first time. You know, he's so supportive and he's great. And he's
No,
like,
but I'm like, oh God, what's
no,
coming?
he's like, "Well, it's what needed to happen," and I was just like,
Thanks for letting the air out of that
"Yeah,"
balloon.
but I was like, "You're right. It's what needed to happen," and looking at him every day as a reminder. You know, that sounds so cheesy, but it's true. Like, I don't know, it's just hard. The relapsing, the journey, watching that struggle, and then I was listening to a story about it, and it was somebody close to that person, and it was like, yeah, she was trying to like act not fucked up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And do you remember?
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember coming home to John and be like, no?
Oh hey, no, I only had a drink or two.
I had 2 beers.
I didn't drink that much. Yeah, totally.
The feeling of just like
shame
almost.
That I remember distinctly one where at the end of things when he was like already like pretty done with my bullshit. It was post golf tournaments. Maybe pre-hurricane, I'm not sure, it was somewhere in there, but I had like this 2-week period right after the golf tournaments where I like used networking as a mega excuse to be out drinking. Oh, God, and you know what's interesting? Actually, I'm really glad we're talking about this because, so I was talking to my sponsor the other day, and one of the things that she was saying to me, I love her, I talk to her most days, but she was saying something to me, because I was telling her the same thing, like I'm really open and honest with her, and I tell her like, it goes through my brain, like maybe I could drink and then I blah, 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 blah. And she said, the other piece of it is, she's like, she said, when people relapse, it's not like you pick up where you left off. She said, it's as though that disease has been with you right along this whole time, and so it's like a leap forward. You start drinking and you drink way worse than you did then when you stopped. Which, who knows if it's like that for everybody or not, but I don't want to take that chance.
No, and they always,
holy shit.
They say in the rooms, they're like, it's doing push-ups. I literally envision, I don't know, for some reason I envision a man.
Yeah.
But an alcohol man.
Yeah, you've got a little, like, I pick things up and put them down.
Yeah, he's like blonde and he kind of talks like that too, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like jacked too, but he's just in there pumping away.
You got Hans and Franz, alcoholics in your head. I love it.
He's wears like a blue shirt.
Yeah. Well, and that's what she's
like visualize it.
But if I think about it, right, the golf tournament weekend happened after I had not had a drink for a month almost.
Yeah, but you went in there gung-ho, determined to get fucked up.
What does that say? That's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
I took a maybe 30-day break. Like, it was like 21 or 27 days. I don't remember exactly what it was.
God, and you were counting them down.
I was. Like, that was a struggle. And I did it because of that diet thing. And I knew there was an end in sight. And I was revved up and ready to go. And I came in, like, guns a-blazing.
I know. I was like scared for you when I talked to you.
It was so.
And I was still drinking
and
too.
it became a 2-week like bender. So if those 30 days without revved me up so much that I went off the deep end, like, what would it be like if I drank after a year? I mean, that's an example of it right there.
No, for sure.
I don't know. Crazy town. Crazy to think of. I can't do it. I can't go back. And you're right. They say it all the time too. Like, I'm just going to be cheesy sayings girl today. Where there's like nothing worse than a belly full of booze and a head full of AA.
That's it.
Because now you know. Now you're aware. Now you recognize. And all you're going to feel is the guilt of it.
Eat the piece of chocolate. Make a cup of tea.
Yeah.
I did that the other day. I was like just kind of getting a little stir crazy. And I'd already went for a run. I'd already exercised. Like I was kind of done with that. And I just, it's not like I could just knock on your house, like you're far. Like I don't have people like really, really close to me. Right. I mean, it's not like 15-minute drive. I can be with somebody, but
right.
And I was just like, all right, and I just was like, move a muscle, change a thought, and I just like made a pot of tea. I think I had like 2 sips of the tea, but the whole act of doing something different than just it was getting out of my head,
like disrupts your thought.
Right. Yeah. And then I was fine. I felt calm like the rest of the day, but just getting that stir crazy because just knowing like. I don't know if maybe that's my wine time. I feel like always is my wine time, so I don't really have like a witching hour. It's kind of all hours, I would say.
I don't know. I think 3 to 5 is my antsy time. Oh. Yeah, I think that's my antsy time. That's when I would be looking for somebody who could screw out of work early and meet me somewhere so I could have a couple of drinks before I went home.
Or before you went to
I went to the grocery store to get the wine to take home. Yeah, or to go to the networking event. Right. To pregame for the networking event. Yeah. Seriously, like I was always like, who haven't I seen for a little while? So it won't look suspect that I'm out 5 days a week drinking at 3:00 in the afternoon, and who can get out of work because they're flexible like me. Terrible.
Do you think about it? Because did you think about that when it was happening though? Like, did you realize the craziness that you were actually planning out that drinking while it was happening?
Probably on some level because I was sneaky about it. Like, I wouldn't have wanted anybody to realize I was doing that because I knew that it would make me look like an alcoholic.
Okay.
I don't know that I was really being honest with myself, but I probably fucking really was an alcoholic.
Right.
But I definitely, like, I didn't want, like, I wouldn't call the same person every day. And
but did you
I wanted to go somewhere where I wouldn't run into anyone, and, like, I was careful about it. So I think I knew it was not normal or would have been frowned upon.
You just put that thought in a little jar and
just like
shove that shit back.
Go sit down.
Because when I think about certain like events or things I've done, like sneaky things, like sneaky Lindsey, like when I used to work at a convenience store, and I don't even know that I was old enough to like legitimately like buy booze, but I think I've just always been an alcoholic. I think I've always drank alcoholically from day one.
Yeah, me too.
And I remember buying the little 4 packs of wine, and I lived with my parents at the time, and I would circle, I would get out of work at like 8, and I didn't want to go home, and I wanted to smoke a cigarette and drink some wine, so I would drive in the back neighborhood, and then I remember I did like
flinging the bottles
whoosh, as far as I could get them into like the wooded area there.
Right. Think about that every time you walk by booze bottles on the side of the road. Like,
yeah, and you know what's crazy is because it's been the memory has been playing in my head over and over lately, like this just broken record, like it just won't stop. And I was thinking maybe I need to do some like cleanup or something to kind of clean up some like a beach, like a wooded cleanup or something to like. But when I think about those things, I never thought that was bad when I was doing it. Like those never.
Well, you didn't care what the consequences to it were. You just wanted to make sure you were protecting numero uno. Like, can't get in trouble, can't get caught, can't be seen with this. Mm-hmm. You never thought past that piece. That's the selfish part, right? They talk about how selfish we are all the time, and you think about it, and you're like, I'm not a selfish person. I do good stuff for people all the time. But when you think about that, you're like, I really only give a shit about myself and my own well-being outcome, right? Like, I really wasn't worried about the earth.
Right, yeah, clearly, right?
Or anybody else's clean hiking environment or whatever. Like, I just wanted to make sure I didn't get busted with those bottles in my car because I was underage. And
because if you just get rid of the evidence, it never happened. I was big. I was like into that too. Like I was just like, oh, it's gone. Like that bottle's already in the recycling bin. The one in the fridge, like, oh, it's just like I didn't even drink it. Right. And it's good to open the other one.
Oh my God, I used to. So even as an adult, right, like living with my husband, constantly guilty about how much I'm drinking. Like I would like put bottles in a plastic bag so it didn't clink and like hide it in the trash barrel instead of the recycling because there was already so much in the recycling that I was embarrassed. Or I remember like looking to make sure he was like nodded off in front of the TV and like sneaky trying to pull like the sneaky bottle out without clinking against anything to just like top something off or put something in my Diet Coke like he wasn't going to know I was drinking.
Right.
The other day I was thinking about, and I forget what he said that made me think about it, and I almost said something to him, but I try not to like confess too much. But I was like, man, all the times I put Bailey's in my coffee on the weekends because I was super hungover, but I didn't want him to know I was doing that. And I would be so relieved if it was like a Saturday morning and he was working and I could just do it and not have to be sneaky about it. But like I had like this secret Bailey's bottle like hidden somewhere so that I could just like sneak it out and shove some in there really quick and then shove it back and nobody would notice it was getting lower and lower, and then like put it in a bag and take it with me to throw away somewhere so that I wasn't throwing it away at my own house. I mean,
it's your own house.
I was a super fucking sneaky bitch and still wasn't ready to admit what a rough I had. I feel like my skirt is up around my eyeballs. So I hope you guys aren't looking at my chooch.
You can't see that. So, and I never thought of it, again, like I never thought I was being that sneaky until I look at it now. Because even before I'd be like, man, I'm going to go to the grocery store and get groceries Saturday morning really early. Like, oh yeah, like this is...
So that I can do wine all day.
But this was like in my condo. Like, right, I'm going to go. I'll be back in a minute, honey, and went to Publix thinking I'm doing this great gesture by going to Publix and like cooking breakfast. But the whole reason for doing that was to have mimosas because I was a mimosa person. And then...
mimosa.
Yeah.
Loved it. 2
and
bottles for me, please.
Yeah. What, you came back with 1 bottle?
No way.
What's wrong with you? No, I'm going to have to go back to the store.
Fucked up. Yeah.
So,
I know, how many girls' gatherings did I have at my house just because it was always an excuse to drink way too much. Like, I had wine tastings at my house. I did brunchy stuff at my house. Like, I always had people over. I love entertaining because I'm going to drink the entire time.
Yeah. Oh, God, I know. It's terrible. We're sneaky.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was one of the hardest
See, you're
things.
not alone. You're not the only one who does it.
No.
We did some sneaky shit. We did some shady shit.
And that was the hardest thing for me. That was like, I remember when I was like, oh my God, I am selfish. I always thought I was this loving, caring person. And it's like now I feel like I am truly, because I've worked at it, and I feel like the inside me is like reflective of my outside environment now.
And I think you're honest. Like, I think honesty is half the battle there. Like, we don't have anything to hide. There's nothing to lie about.
It makes you just feel lighter in general, just about everything.
Yeah, there's nothing to lie about.
Right.
That's the biggest gift to me, is like, I have nothing to worry about. I have nothing to feel bad about, like, unless I spent more money than I was supposed to. But even then, I don't really feel bad about that. I earn good money. But like, I don't have to be a sneak, and that's awesome.
Oh God. And you don't have to be sneaky. You don't have to regret not knowing what you did.
I don't cringe when I hear Jay Snow taking the recycling bins out to the curb.
I could just walk through the door. I don't have to give myself a pep talk like, okay, you got this.
You got this little Vicey.
Okay, mouthwash, Vicey, smacking your face around. All right, hairspray. All right. I had one beer the whole day. Like, the amount of energy that goes into that is just, I think that's why you're so tired when you get sober, right? Like, how much
you just take a deep breath.
Your body just it is okay if you're new to just melt in the couch for weeks. Like, God, we were so fortunate to have each other and to really have flexible schedules to really allow us to
thank goodness, because I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
I probably would have lost my fucking job if I hadn't had that, because I was a mess. And even now, I feel like I still feel effects of that now, where my brain just isn't quite right yet. And if you read this, so there's something called PAWS, PAWS, which is post-alcohol withdrawal syndrome. And if you do a little research on that, it talks about the effects lasting for like 6 to 12 months. Like, it can be, your brain literally has to rewire itself from the damage the alcohol does to it, from your previous thought patterns. And a great visual my therapist had given me, and I heard it again recently. I listened to, I love the Dax Shepard Armchair Expert podcast. I think Dax is like the coolest dude. He's sober. It comes up. It's not what the podcast is about, but he brings people on.
We'll share it on our page.
It's so great. He's got such a great podcast. But on one of the people he was talking with, and I forget who it was, but one of the people he was talking with was talking about how your brain is like the paths you always use, right? It's like a path in the woods. Like, the path you always use is worn and easy and free of debris and everything else. And when you're trying to change a thought pattern, it's like you're creating a new path that's going to be rocky and have branches sticking out at it. You're going to have to machete your way through for a while, and it's not going to be easy to take that path, but eventually you wear the footpath there. It becomes easier to take that path, blah, blah. So it becomes, and then eventually it becomes the superhighway, right? So it's hard to make those changes, and I think that's part of the pause thing. Is your neural pathways are literally rewiring themselves, because when you were thinking with your alcohol-fueled brain, you were making certain choices, you were thinking certain ways, you were wired to have certain behavioral responses, and now you're trying to act and think and behave in a different way. And that's hard and exhausting, and I still feel like a flake, and like I don't have my shit together. Like, I was like on it, had my shit together, and now I feel like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. What? Like, what did you say to me 5 seconds ago that I was supposed to do? If I don't write it down, I'm toast. Like, I have to use a calendar for everything.
Don't you feel like you're mentally getting stronger? Like, the other day I had a really good, like, the past couple weeks I've been, well, maybe not this week, but the past couple weeks before that, I'd had like a really good week, and I was like, man, every day was really good. Like, and again, I'm 11 and a half, and that's just like where I felt like energetic, and I felt like, I was telling Pat this too, I was like, I feel like my brain is getting stronger. Like, now I feel like my pathway is the debris is easy. Right. There's only a couple branches. Right.
You're not macheting things out of your way.
No, and that really makes me feel like
we like visuals.
We do. But that really, it made me it like re-inspired my sobriety.
That's great.
You know, when we talk about.
I don't feel that way yet.
Like it re-inspired it, and not in a fearful way, because when I think about relapse, it connects with fear, which are false events appearing real. Best term, I love that one. And because that's not real for me, and I don't need that to be real for me. But this just like, I don't know, just like being my mental game, being stronger, just made it just like, I felt like, oh yes, like I got this, like I'm ready to keep going, you know? And that was a couple weeks, and then the next week wasn't so great, you know?
I definitely don't share that monster feeling, but I feel like you've always been at a different place than I've been this whole time. Like, you've always been a little supercharged through this recovery process, and I've never felt that way. Like,
What?
No, I've never felt supercharged. Like, through this whole recovery process, I think I've been a little, not that I'm not happy or better or on a better path, but I definitely still feel like I'm not quite myself yet.
Oh, God, I mean, again, brain getting
you've
strong.
always been like, oh, I'm doing this, and I'm running, and I'm jogging, and I'm like, you're always like, oh, and I feel like I'm doing this, I'm mental thing, and I'm present, and I'm here, and I'm doing that, and then, like, you're all this good juju, and I'm just
like a walking stupid meme.
And even when I go back and I listen to our very first episode where I was like crawling to 30 days, right? Like clawing my way to 30 days, I still feel like that sometimes. Like maybe not quite to that level. Like I definitely feel better. It gets better. But I definitely like you were in a better place then reading some like self-help book, and I was like, oh God, so okay, just go with your self-help book. I'll meet you down the I'll meet you down the path. I'm just gonna use
some crumbs.
I'm gonna use these pinking shears to cut my way down there while you're running and macheteing. Like I always feel like I'm just not. I don't have the energy you have for whatever reason. Maybe it's the not eating meat. I don't know.
No, well, that's new, but no, I did a Deepak Chopra retreat with one of my girlfriends last weekend, and it was just they went through like meditation.
I think Dax interviewed him too. I have to tell you. I think Dax has a whole interview with him.
And he's great too. He has a podcast. I haven't listened to it yet, but and it was just great. Like it just kind of reinvigorated everything as far as just feeling like. I felt like I was kind of like fluctuating where like, okay, I'm running and I'm doing this, but I still feel in a funk. So I'm doing these things that are supposed to make me feel better, and they do, but yeah, I still feel ugh. And then I'm like, well, why, God, you ungrateful bitch. Like, why do you still feel like, when I still have all these wonderful, great things and I'm trying, and I just, so I feel like that kind of got me out of that little funk.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So, and my brain working a little bit stronger. Like, I think it just, I guess I'm just feeling better and better every day. And that doesn't happen, I mean, these are like phases, I feel like, of sobriety and so I don't, your phases are just been different. Even by talking to you, like your level of like, oh my God, to like.
I did have that.
Yeah.
That was a part of my recovery.
I'll meet you there at 9. I'm on my way.
Yeah. Can't make here today. Yeah, some of that.
But through this journey, and even when you're like in a funk about getting rid of the horse and that stuff and stuff like, but you definitely will overcome anything that's like put in your path. You will.
Well, I'm a survivor,
right?
And I have no there's no choice but to keep moving forward in my world. Like I can't fall apart. It's okay, we're just playing footsie under the table. I can't fall apart. I don't have the luxury of falling apart. I have to continue to be functional and make a living and earn my keep and blah, blah, blah. Like there's no, like I think about people who go to rehab and I'm like, God, how could I even have done that? Like I couldn't, there's no way I could have just been able to check out of life for 90 days, or 30 days or whatever it is. Even if I really badly needed it, and I'm glad people can and do, because people need to.
Absolutely.
I'm grateful I was able to get sober without that, because I'm like, I don't know how to, I can't shut anything down.
And maybe that's why it was more difficult, or why you might feel like you're not as.
Because I probably could have used rehab for sure. I mean, I could have used a 30-day stint somewhere. Me and Sandra Bullock off a 28-day recovery.
No, remember didn't you tell me you wanted a nice getaway weekend to be sober? So Some bougie ass fucking.
Bougie fucking retreat.
I want to go to but this is when you were still drinking and you knew you kind of had a problem and you just wanted a weekend.
I don't remember this conversation.
Yeah. This was a long time ago.
I wanted to go somewhere and not drink. That's fascinating.
But somewhere really nice.
Yeah, somewhere really fancy. Anywho, so yeah, I still don't feel like I'm at max capacity yet. I'm still the horse thing is a long way to mental stability for me, to be honest. Like that is it forces me to be very zen. I was telling you a little bit about it earlier. Like he's a reflection of me. If I'm holding tension in my body, if I'm upset or nervous or paying attention to the rest of the world instead of our moment of riding that we have to be working on, it's reflected in how he behaves. So it forces me to be mindful and centered and all of those things, and I love it. I'm a different person driving home from the barn.
You are.
Than I was when I got there. So I know it's something I need in the core of my being. And so not having that in my world for the last few years has definitely been part of my like spiral out of control.
So it's like your yoga, your meditation.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe meditating before you get on the horse for 10 minutes would be good too. Zen you out.
Well, there's a process. There's a getting ready process of, the grooming that takes place and the tack that has to be put on and things have to be put in their place. And so there is kind of like a Zen getting ready process that has what's the word I want to say? Like a systems of operation. Like this happens before this happens before this happens, and it's the same routine every time. So it is kind of a form of, readying and meditating and getting yourself in the space to now go in the ring and get to work. Like it's not a just slap stuff on and go.
Right. It's more of like a spiritual.
There's a
right.
I don't know that I'd go that far, but I don't know that I'd call it spiritual, but there's definitely like a process of like getting the things I need to get ready, getting him ready, putting the tack on, getting it. So it's not a rushy feeling, like it's a bit centered.
Are you gonna let me come with you?
I would love for you to come. They have just started to say that we can have somebody.
So are you back to 6 days?
I'm not yet. It's still 4, but I think the end of the month they're gonna like let that go. I think June 1st we're gonna start having free reign. But I can bring somebody with me now. If you wanted to come, you're welcome to.
So being new, just to let you're not alone.
No.
Whatever you're feeling or experiencing,
someone has
felt
whatever
it.
you've done or are currently doing, someone has.
Keep eating the Oreos if you have to. Go for a run if you need to.
I
cry. Like when you say you had to be on sorry to circle back, but just because when you said you couldn't like break down, like that was hard for me too, and I finally had to just like cry and break down and be super vulnerable and be with myself and all that good stuff. So,
well, I just mean I couldn't like check out.
Right.
Like I could be emotional. I couldn't completely check out. I couldn't not go to work. I couldn't not, like I still had to kind of suit up and show up, even though I kind of did it at like half capacity.
Like I couldn't stop crying.
Yeah.
I did a lot of crying. Yeah. Not the first couple months, but once we went to AA, oh god. I just couldn't stop crying. Yeah. But now I can't wait to get back. Like I'm excited.
I know, I miss it. And I hear that June 1st they may start doing fellowship hall meetings. So
okay, awesome. So just keep trucking one day at a time.
It gets better.
It does. I mean, your brain, our body is capable of miraculous recovery, and we are proof of that.
And everybody's different. If you've been drinking for 40 years or you've been drinking for 5 minutes, it's going to take you the time it takes to get past the icky stuff. I think just be ready for the first few days, few weeks, few months to be the hardest.
Oh, for sure.
Just hang in. We got you. So you can stay sober wherever you are.
We choose to do it in paradise, and reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, have a great day.
Next time.